All right, testing. Testing. Should be good. Testing. Everybody should just know that we are live. It's gonna go over some of the trades that we take thus far. Go in TrinFx. Hi guys, welcome back to the live stream here. On another Wednesday. And sorry for starting so late, right? I want to start doing these things around like 8 o'clock because I know like doing it at 9 is where we miss a lot of the key moves that we could probably get from the market, especially with volume, when we do have NY open and such. And so there's not really much to discuss in terms of what's going on in the markets right now, as we do have sort of a low volume issue happening right now, right? We are in the ending of the year, so we wouldn't see as much movement from a lot of these currency pairs as we would during the course of the year on a regular basis. So that's just like part of trading. You know, every business has its cutoff time for trading. I guess it will be from November month to, until next year around January or so. So we are experiencing low volume. So all we have is like liquidity moves and just sharp movements, volatile movements when we do have news happening. So yeah, that's just something to note. Right now, what I'm looking at, not too much going on as I said before, but we would in a trade here on AD JPY, actually in a trade here for AD JPY and AD USD. Right now, as you can see, these pairs are currently experiencing some sort of consolidation. If we look here on the lower time frame, like 15-minute time frame on AD USD, we see that right around here in this area, we do have this sort of consolidation happening right now, right? So price did break to the downside previously, and we did have this clean break to the downside, showing that we have more sellers than buyers, more selling pressure for a possible continuation lower. However, if we do look at the larger picture, we can see that here on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, we do have all this sort of noise to the left hand side, right? So we do have all of this right here, which indicating that we have some buying pressure support levels at that point. So if we are to see a continuation to the low side, to the downside, then we like to see price actually close off passing all of this noise that we do have here. So everything here, we would like to see price push past and give a nice close to the downside for that possible continuation. And we should be able to get, given that we do have more of a bullish USD compared to the AD being sort of lacking with the fundamentals compared to the US dollar, right? The USD is the currency in more focus, heavily focused right now. So whether we do have this continuation, again, it will all depend on whether we see price actually push past all this noise we have here at the left hand side. If we could get that, let's say on this candle forming here, if we do get a clear bearish push down, then I think we should see a continuation moving all the way to these lows, probably being something that's probable. Um, 80 JPY. Sort of the same thing when it comes to the 80 cross pairs, right? We do experience the same sort of trend and overall market price action. Right now we do have all these rejection levels that we are seeing here. However, if we do get price to push past below that, then I think we could continue into this level. Again, we do have these wick areas to actually look out for where price could probably reject from and continue higher. If we're looking at the overall recent market movement, we can see that price has been trending up. We did come to this top right here. Price rejected strongly after closing within that area. we had a bearish candle close engulfing that entire candle move to the upside. So we should see a possible continuation lower, right? That is something that's probable. And if you do look at it carefully, we could see here on the 4 hour, we are in a sort of a range right now, right? So price is kind of ranging within this area, coming up, down, and spiking between here and these two areas. So it is possible that we could possibly see a move back to the downside here at the ending at the support level of this range. However, whether we do have the momentum to carry on with that move is up to the market. So we'll have to look out to see whether we get that continuation. Again, looking for a trade, if you look to enter any of these trade setups that we are currently in, I would say wait until you do get that move further down, pushing past those rejection levels. That will give a more of a clearer indication that we have enough momentum, enough bearishness to see that continuation to the lower side, right? So that is something that you should pay attention to if you do plan on entering any of these trade setups. And it's basically like that for all the other trades that we are seeing right now. Um, 80 CAD, we did get price moving to the downside here a little bit more on this candle, right? And just because we did have this CPI and inflation news, as you can see that inflation was slightly higher than expected by 0.1%. So not by much compared to the consensus, but it is more than compared to the previous number that we did have for that information, right? As well as CPI slightly negative, more bearish, coming out just at 4.7%, so 0.1% less than what was expected, right? So all of that played in part of giving the card that sort of a bearish move, sorry, that bullish move, which we saw here by this bearish candle, right? And also like CAD CHF and CAD JPY as well. We did see a slight move to the upside on those CAD pairs. But overall, as you can see, most of those moves are contained within ranges, consolidations of sorts, right? The same thing for here with the CAD CHF as well. Price has been going up. If we're looking to possibly get a trade out of this, it would have been when price rejected, came into this area and rejected. We could have got a swing to the upside with that news being the impact for that movement. Right, so we don't really have much going on. We could possibly see a continuation swing to the upside, but that news event itself was not that heavily impactful. So there's a good chance that price may start to come back down right back into that support level here. Again, we do not have enough volume in the markets right now for that continuation to be something more likely to happen. So that's just like my take on the markets currently, right? Um, Low volume just means a lot of the movements that we'd like to see or like to get out of the markets have a less probability of actually happening. Especially when you take into account the pip amount, how much that price action has to move within whatever your risk reward ratio is, right? So let's say you want the price to come somewhere up here, this is a 26 pip move. However, do we have enough volume? Do we have enough momentum to see that swing to the upside? And the answer currently is no, at least not at the pace that we would like to see during normal market during the normal market environment. So that is something that you should take into account when you are trading. If you trade during coming close to the ending of the year, just that you'll have a lot of these moves. A lot of times, price may spike you out, spike out onto its stop zone, and then actually continue up. A lot of wick fills may happen with rejections and all of these other nasty candles that you do get when you do encounter low volume situations, right? So yeah, that's just like basically what we have going on right now. So yeah, we don't have much in terms of coming up with stuff that we could look at coming to the future. We do have AED unemployment as well as employment change for the Aussie dollar. So this again would be something that would be impactful for the AED, right? It may give us the continuation that we want to see for these trades that we are currently in, which is the AED JPY and 80 USD. So potentially for like exactly the 80 USD, potentially we could hold this trade all the way to the bottom here. And this is a 1 to 10 risk to reward trade, right? Just because we do have negative numbers basically coming out for the employment change. As you can see, it's less than the previous. And if you take a quick look at the employment change, we can see that, all right, a higher than expected figure is considered positive, bullish for the 80, while lower than expected figure is considered negative, right? So that's just a quick overview of what this number actually means. So the consensus we have from the previous is actually less than that. So if the data for this comes out actually negative or just exactly as that, that would be bearish for the AUD, right? That just means that the amount of employed people compared to last year, or the amount of new jobs created for people to become employed, is less than what was expected or less than the previous. Therefore, that would give that would give investors sort of the outlook that, all right, the economy isn't where it's at in terms of combating with all the recession fears that we are seeing and stuff like that. This would be a little bit of a positive news if this number actually comes out higher than expected, right? It gives us sort of a reassurance that the economy is recovering well. However, if it does come out negative, then that would just indicate that, all right, we still have a ways to go in terms of recovering from the overall economic situation we are seeing globally, right? So that's just something to note. We do have other news events coming for tomorrow, jobless claims and also initial jobless claims as well. So we do have these here, which does affect the US dollar. However, again, low volume situations just means that this will be volatile for the US dollar. We may get a move to the upside, especially given the numbers that we have seen, right? So we may get a news to the upside. Um, sorry, yeah, yeah. Right? So a higher than expected number is seen as bearish, and a lower than expected number is seen as bullish, right? So yeah, we may get a move to the downside, sorry. If we do see the numbers come out as expected for the jobless claims, because that just means that the amount of people unemployed or filing for unemployment is a lot higher than what the previous was. So that is something that you should pay attention to. It could give you some good movements. However, low volume situation just means that price may just spike in one direction and then start ranging. We've seen that a lot consistently throughout this entire trading month and last month as well. So that is just something that you should take into account if you do look to get into any of those moves, right? Especially if you aren't in any of these trades prior to those moves, then looking to get into them could possibly be detrimental to your trading account, right? A lot of times, a lot of people have tendencies, new traders as well have tendencies to risk high and low volume situations and coming closer to the end of the year because they have all these beliefs of what trading should be, as well as this mindset that they want to make the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, right? Especially coming closer to the holidays, things that you want start looking more attractive, and you could do that by the means of trading, and that all plays into the psychology when it comes to taking good setups and just looking for trades when there aren't any, or trying to pull trades out of thin air, right? And that's just some little market psychology for you, especially personal psychology. Things you need to be aware when trading is your own psychology. Where you are at mentally would give you either edge or just be detrimental to your trading and your trading strategy, whatever you implement for yourself. Um, yeah, looking closer, we don't really have anything much right now going on. As I said, we did have that card news pushing price in favor of the card, but now price is just starting to consolidate as we don't have that much volume in the market. Right. The only thing that we did get sort of, and this goes for those inside the VIP, we did have this move to the upside for the DXY as you can see, we are coming into this sort of resistance zone. So whether price continues upwards from here would give a sort of a indication for the US dollar strength and possibly help us move in those USD crosspairs that we are in. We have gold starting to range as well, right at the bottom of this area here. If we do see a push past this level of resistance, then we could possibly get a continuation back into these consolidations right here, right? And we already formed support at this bottom, signified by these quick rejections we are seeing within this zone. So now if you are looking for a trade to actually enter for gold, you want to get out of this sort of range that could possibly start, start happening, right? Price may start a range between these two areas. So that is something that you should pay attention to. If you're somebody that trades gold, you'd actually look to see price past this level, push up to give confirmation that okay, we do have some bullishness coming back into the market for that continuation move higher. So that is something that you should pay attention to if you are going to trade gold, or you trade gold or JPY or any pair. Um, not any pair in particular, but any pair that you are looking at. You want to see price break out of these consolidation zones for those continuations. Yeah, so that's, we don't really have much going on, like I said. Um, so right now it's just a wait and see. The only thing that we may probably get a lot of movement from is the interest rate decisions that we do have coming up in November. And let me just get that up real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. Um, for November, I believe up until the 12th, we do have some interest rates coming out. We do have interest rates coming out, I believe, hold on, I'm just trying to get this good for you guys. All right, so we do have interest rate coming out on the 31st of this month, at the end of the month for the AED. So this is something that will have a lot of impact for the Aussie dollar. So this is something you should note as well, right? Especially that we are seeing an increase. This consensus, which is likely to happen, right? It is by a 25.25 base point increase, so not really much, but going forward for next year, all of these would play a key part into the strength of the currencies that we would be taking a look at, continuing on trading for next year, right? So those those numbers for interest rates would play a very important part, and where we start seeing price actually moving once we do start having more volume within the market and businesses open back up, then you will start to see trends. Hopefully we'll see more trends evolve, especially when we do have the interest rates increase being sort of the leading factors into next year. There will be the leading indicators as to how these economic numbers and other stuff we'll be looking at, when we do have more high impact news come out. It'll all play a key part in those numbers moving forward, right? Such as employment, unemployment, again, jobless claims, employment changes, all of that. All of that will start from the interest rate decisions that we do get. So the BOE, we also have interest rates for them as well. That will be November 3rd. And we also have the US interest rates, which is coming out on, I think, somewhere either the 6th. All right, so I'm not seeing it here. But we also have like CPI and other stuff coming out for the US dollar, right? So we do have a lot of high impact news for the month of November coming out. And all of that is what's in focus right now. I think the markets are probably waiting for those news events to come out, just to give more of a clear indication of where we might possibly be heading. So yeah, that's basically all that we have happening right now, right? There's not much going on in the market. It's pretty much a quiet day. and perhaps like it's been a quiet week as well. So I'm not gonna keep this too long. There's not really much to do right now. Um, Again, the only trade that I am looking at to actively get anything or come into again, another position that I may probably take is ADJPY if we do get a break to the downside on this, as well as ADUSD, right? If we do get a break to the downside, breaking away from these support levels, then that would give a clear indication for selling continuations. And that's the only thing that looks like probable at this point of time, right? So that's it, really, guys. That's it. That's, basically noteworthy. We really don't have much going on. Even like the most famous currencies such as GP, JPY, a lot of traders trade that, especially those that do live streams. There's not much happening right now, right? As you can see, prices coming back into this sort of a support zone, and we may start forming a range here as well. And gold is doing the exact same thing as well with these wick rejections that we are seeing. We may come back up here into this resistance zone and just start ranging. Again, if you are looking to trade gold, wait for a break to the upside just to show that the buyers are more in control of this market, and you could possibly make a few pips. So around this area here, we have this sharp price rejection. So that is the only sort of trades that I am seeing currently right now, right? So again, thank you for joining. If you're seeing this video now, or if you see it later, leave a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed for future updates. I am doing these live trading sessions every Wednesday from 9 to 11. Obviously, the streams will get longer once we do start seeing more market movement and things start picking up next year, please God. And also Monday, I also do Zoom analysis from 5 till 6 p.m. Uh, Recapping what we have going on for the market as the week start, and also looking at potential trade setups continuing on for the rest of the week. Right. So thank you for joining in. Um, as always, if you're new to trading, check a couple of the videos I do have as well, as they may help you with your trading journey. And feel free to join the Discord in the link, and also the Telegram group as well. The Discord community is pretty nice, not much activity right now, but hopefully that picks up as next year comes around and we do have more traders. And I just want to grow this community with a lot of traders that feel the same way, that want to elevate themselves. I really want to do better in trading itself and grow this as a business and a community where we can all share ideas, learn from each other. Even I myself can learn from you. Nobody's idea is wrong or anything like that. And there's always something new that could be brought to the table, especially when it comes to trading, right? So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining in, and see you.